Hello, everybody. Welcome back to what is going to be the final part of the regular season. This is the final week number 9. A couple of schools still need to finish off their regular season schedule, and we'll be dealing with a lot of the Southwestern Division. My whole shift with me, Visions. How you doing there, friend? Looking good up there.
Hey, thanks, man. I'm feeling pretty
Yeah,
good. I'm hyped to get back into towards some college cod. I see you trimmed the beard off. I
it's
mean,
like gone, dude.
throwing
It's
a curveball at me right away at the top of the
yeah.
stream, but hey, here
You're
we
welcome.
are.
It was just feeling like one of those days. Like I just kept scratching at it and scratching at it and scratching at it, and I was like, you
I
know
don't know.
what? Get rid of it. It's all gone. It's all gone. Hey, let's take a look at our schedule overall, just to kind of give you the layout as far as what we have. And like I mentioned, a lot of things going on in the Southwestern Division across both the Alpha and the Bravo stream. Here, starting things off, North Texas will be going up against Colorado Gold. A big matchup for Colorado Gold. We'll talk about that more in a moment. Our second matchup will be Tulsa going up against Navarro College. That one's got implications as far as who would be able to get in as one of those middling seeds, not having to go through too much of that last chance qualifier in the regional qualifiers. And then we'll be back to finish things off with the Pacific Division. 2 undefeated squads. Got Colorado Black going up against Cal State Long Beach Black. Should be a really good one. Really, very excited about that one. Both teams, like mentioned, undefeated. Colorado Black shooting up the leaderboard right now when it comes to top 25. People starting to recognize that maybe that team is actually pretty good, which would you believe being undefeated so far.
That's right. Yeah. Kind of take that in for as far as what it is. But I think we got some great matches here lined up for us on the night, Alan. And I think the best part is that we're going to start to see a lot of these teams get on form, right? When we're talking about playoffs, we're talking about how they're going to have to step up because there is a lot of great talent that we have. And I think we learned a lot of last year what happened when some of these top teams connected. Some, ended up kind of crumbling under the pressure. Others were able to kind of show us what they brought to the table. So I think that's a lot of what we could end up getting here for our very first match. For CU Gold, they have a really tough schedule for as far as what they've been able to do. They've had a lot of really close losses, and this is going to be, I think, a true test for them going into towards playoffs to see what kind of a dent they can make. And if they can take a team down like North Texas, who's kind of hovering near the top right now of this division, I
Yeah.
mean, that would be massive for them going into towards playoffs.
Yeah, for Colorado Gold, they're sitting just at 2 wins so far, but a third one would put them in the running. Again, the top 4, let me back up a little bit. Let's back this thing up real quick. The top 4 from each division will be automatically entered into playoffs. This is not going to be possible for Colorado Gold. But for the next 8 teams, you have to play through the regional qualifiers. And being 9 through what is going to be, I think, 16 overall in this division, or region rather, I should say, that will put you in a spot where you have to win 2 matches. Whereas if you finish 8th, for instance, which is still maybe possible with tiebreaker scenarios for Colorado Gold pending they win this matchup, you only have to play through one of those matchups. So gives you a little bit of breathing room. But on the other front, this is an important conversation point. North Texas at 6-3, currently tied not just with Texas Arlington Blue, but also with Texas State. So we've got 3 teams at 6-3 and a lot of tiebreaker scenarios that can come through. So this is also a very important matchup for North Texas as well.
It sure is. And North Texas, I think, have been able to show a lot of strength throughout the season. And I think the big thing that is interesting going towards this matchup is that both of these teams actually share a lot of these maps. So we're going to also get a good look at how strong they really are on it. Because if there's 2 teams favoring, something like a checkmate hardpoint that we have coming up first year for ourselves, then that's a really good look to see, okay, who's actually the strongest coming in towards, this group in particular for as far as, some of these map pools where you have CU Gold, who's also, pretty strong for as far as what we have on checkmate. So I think that this should be kind of a fun one to just kind of see where they're at, right? If they're able to dominate CU Gold on a map that they're already good at, well, that gives us a pretty good idea of how strong this team is at hardpoint. And I feel like going in towards the rest of the maps that we have here as well, which of course are Raid S&D, Raid Control, Apocalypse, Hardpoint, Express S&D. There's a couple of maps here that maybe aren't going to be as familiar for a team like North Texas, where I think CU Gold might be able to find some favor. It's just a matter of finding one of the 3 wins here coming in towards the first 3 games, I feel like, and we could get a big series out of them.
And I think overall here, when you look at Colorado Gold, their win-loss record in Split 2, not fantastic, including 4 straight losses. But you look at those recent 4 losses, a lot of really close maps that were determined by, 30, 40 seconds here on Hardpoint, a couple of rounds on Search, maybe one more round goes your way in Control. You extend those not just into a 4th map, but maybe even a 5th, or hell, maybe you even were able to take some of those series. Specifically, we're talking about them playing up against UTD COD Orange. Not exactly the closest one there, but against Texas Arlington, good squad, very tight affair there. They even played the hard point up against Texas A&M Maroon, pretty darn close as well. And then the series versus Navarro, also a pretty tight one. So all four of the most recent matches for Colorado Gold have been pretty tight. And they started off the opening split very successful. I mean, losing to Ottawa Gold, everyone is. But, outside of that, I mean, a tight game versus Oklahoma, tight game versus Oklahoma State. So this team has been competitive all season long is really what I'm getting at. That's kind of like the meat on the bone there for this CU Gold squad.
That's certainly the case. Just a matter of, can they actually bring some of that execution towards closing out these series? If playing them close, imagine scrims have also kind of maybe fallen in line for as far as what we're getting to, but closing out some of these games is what's going to matter the most, because as you say, when you're breaking in towards playoffs, that's when everyone's bringing it. That's when we're going to see kind of some of the true colors of how they're going to be able to handle some of that pressure. I believe we're just about ready to jump in towards this very first game. It's going to be a good one, Alan. We got lots of energy coming in towards this, right? We're feeling good. Got some nice days. I got debated earlier where it looked really nice out, and well, I got a nice little Canadian breeze in the face as I woke up this morning, but I'm ready to go now. I'm wide awake, and we're riding towards it here for us, Alan, as it's going to be North Texas winning the initial battle, so they'll start collecting the time early.
Looking pretty solid, but as you, of course, tilt your head to the mini-map, it is Colorado Gold in possession of the P2 side of the map, so they will have to try to contest some of this time while also retaining that side of the map. Really good help for North Texas as Rudd and Dustino are able to essentially go 1-for-1 with one another. Andrew trying to find some way to contest the time, but it will not come through, and North Texas clean to the first hard point, and they flipped around those balls.
Oh, this is just beautiful. Not what you want to see right now. CU Gold want to get this time. This would be a big 15 seconds, and well, Spenson's going to be holding on towards this. Well, gunfight, good against the wall bang. So good little two-piece to force some of those spawns just a little bit deeper, and it comes at a better time than any. I mean, 4 in a row, all finding all the kills is just going to create a bit of a tough situation for CU Gold, as they're going to have to break through all these initial engagements and then get to the hill.
Well, Andrew's going to open up some space here, kind of dodging bullets like Neo in the Matrix for a moment as he was stretching across the middle of the map. But you see that for Colorado, they do have a look at this hard point. Maybe even potential with this pressure coming through for Ezio that maybe you can block the spawns, but he falls quickly. And that will mean that North Texas spawn right back up. And for the Mean Green, still flawless so far, have not given away a second of time to Colorado Gold, and that will eventually change. The numbers for the Buffaloes will make some presence happen here in the second hard point.
Run right back in it, though. He finds 3. I mean, how many sprees? He's already on double digits. Like, take that in. Yeah. Double digits, and we're just a minute and a half towards the game. So North Texas feeling pretty good about the start for themselves. CU Gold now a chance to at least get the initial setup. We know this P3 hill, not a hill you're going to come on with a lot of time, but a chance to be able to at least make a dent and chip away at the lead. Dustino, little gunfight, not going to be able to get the best of Ezio. Finds 2 on the top. He's going to start controlling the map here. Can't get the third, and well, North Texas, they're going to come pretty swift off that last hill and look to break in towards the new one.
Yeah, it's been kind of funny over the last about 60 seconds or so. I'm just going to catch my eye on Spence, who is just 3 and 4 with 9 seconds of objective time. He's the main AR for this North Texas squad. He's just playing super passively back, just waiting for someone to cross his line of sight. And to be honest, he hasn't really had to do much because you've got players like Rudd who are clearing off so much individual space. Andrew on the way back in, though, has done well to allow some time for the Buffaloes to get into play, but just as soon as he gets on, he gets immediately bounced off as North Texas will reinforce, and the SMG line for the Mean Green have looked absolutely lights out so far.
Oh, definitely lights out here, Alan, and CU Gold. You keep saying it. They want to get some time, and they're struggling to do so. And we don't see a lot of it go over on P3, but you need it to almost happen on P4. And big criteria, going to start to make some big plays in and around the middle of the map here. You can see the spawns on the top hand or top right-hand corner there, and that's going to force North Texas to come in a little bit split. Dustino doesn't have his teammates necessarily with him, so he does die a little bit isolated here. Andrew a chance to be able to make a play as he finds 2 in a row. Right towards the middle of the plane he goes, but not going to be able to take those shots just yet. Does repeat it. Beautiful retake there from CU Gold, and they're going to fend off the first push.
And this is even better for Andrew. He recognizes that, okay, we've cleared off the hard point and we've cleared off the plane. Let's just make sure we've got some reinforcements to block from the front, but the kills are just not there. North Texas go essentially 4 for 2. Dustino trying to work the middle. The map finds 1 more. Has an opportunity if he wants to continue to play on that same route, but instead defers to playing on the hard point, and him and Denpai, they will find a couple eliminations, making sure that this scrap time, about 20 seconds, should favor that of UNT, but there is a split spawn situation, so Colorado will have to hold their lives in the backfight at the 5th hard point and still try to flood from the front simultaneously. And well, only one of those 2 factors were successful. It's the scrap time that comes into play for the Buffaloes.
It was a tough situation there for Bugs. He had to make a big play, but he was just being collapsed with the numbers there. So North Texas flood him out, able to push through, but a chance to be able to surge through themselves. Player 4 is going to spawn out. Good shots there for Big Criteria. 3 in a row might just be enough to break the spawns in towards the back, and it is. They clean up everyone. So a massive resurgence coming through here for CCL Gold as they're able to position themselves inside of the point, control the spawns, and maybe finally a chance to actually get some real time.
Hey, you look over at the KDs, I mean, for the side of Colorado, everyone's playing about even. It's largely just been Rudd who's taken over for North Texas, making life very difficult for CU Gold. So now with an opportunity with this setup, as you mentioned, all you gotta do is just efficiently play trades, and you should be right back into this game. So even though the first 3 hills were terrifying, I think if you're a Colorado fan, North Texas, they are still being resilient. You know, just kind of try to keep themselves in the mix, but Colorado doing a really nice job here. They haven't given up a second worth of time really yet whatsoever. This is gonna be about a tie game.
Yeah, tie game. I mean, best you could have hoped for if you are CU Gold, and Andrew's been able to finesse a couple of these moments, is still trying to do so. Spence gonna give up the pre-aim, and well, is gonna mean Andrew finds the window of timing to be able to pick him up. Now a chance to pinch up top. Andrew gonna find 3 in a row. Can he get 4? Rudd's gonna pop right into his line of sight, but caught on the reload. So we saw what Rudd did here last time. He's already at 20 kills. Big Criteria gonna give him a challenge, and well, a taste of his own medicine while he's at it, as that's a kill there for him. But Spence answers back, and you'll be able to regain playing control for now.
Yeah, at a certain point here for the Buffaloes, you just have to play your numbers a little bit better, a little bit over aggressive, I would say, for some of those challenges. Bugs outside through A lane actually finds an angle onto Spence. That'll allow Andrew to start to push through. He should see 1. That's a free kill. Now an opportunity to flip the spawns around, and while that's happening, all of the players behind Andrew have locked down the hard point. Still 20 seconds to play on this hard point for now, but there's an imminent lead swap coming through if Colorado can hold on to this P2 side.
Can they do it is going to be the question. Bugs finding kills is going to create an interesting dynamic on towards the map, because player 7, that's going to be Big Criteria. He actually has a chance to come in for a bit of a pinch, and he does find Denpai here. So this is going to cause a little bit of havoc. Rudd feels obligated to try and press forward, but he will be punished for the play. Big Criteria cleans up another one. A very fortunate spawn coming through here, and it's going to pay off massively as that lead change will come through. But North Texas, they're out front again. We'll see if they can try and break through from the front.
Trying to flood through. Rudd, the first one forward, has to hold his life a little bit longer. Dustino trying to work with him, but it's the ARs of Bugs that's able to light things up. And Colorado now with their first significant lead, as there's still 30 seconds to play for. Decision time for UNT. Do you want to actually hit for this? It's a lot of time just to give over for free, but if you get stuffed on this hit, you might lose the rotation to 3. 2 for 2 we go. Colorado, they lose the spawns in the back.
No
Bugs
way.
thought for sure he was safe, but the pressure from North Texas was enough to block and flip. That'll lead to a break. Still, it will be a lead for Colorado, but a massive amount of scrap time going the way of Mean Green.
Oh, look at Big Criteria right now. He's on 7 in a row, so he's got himself that first streak. Likely just going to be a kill off from getting the second here. We know streaks aren't necessarily impactful on Checkmate, but you still love to have them for as far as the information and the odd kill. But we go back towards P3. Just a very close game. Is Big Criteria. You can see him. He's waiting for an angle. The challenge comes in. He finds it, and not just 1, but 2. That's 9 in a row before finally being taken out from Rudd. You got streaks. CU Gold back in the game, and now they're looking to retake control around P3.
Gotta play smart here for Colorado. Try to see if you can keep the Mean Green trapped. And Ezio, goodness, he finds himself 2. Andrew working with him will find the 3rd, but Dustino was concealed the entire time, and he finds a 1v3 essentially onto the hard point. At the end, everyone will be bounced out, but still North Texas, a little bit more favored. Spawns will find a way to get there faster, and they will retake their lead. Bugs trying to make a play for the initial time at P4, also cut down, and an opportunity for UNT to start to really grow this lead for the first time since the first rotation of hills.
North Texas in position, but you have to shut down a couple of pushes because of the spawns. Ezio, first one a challenge, takes home the gunfight. Trade there for Big Criteria. CU Gold right back in the hill on the very first attempt, but no trophy system going down, and it being blocked is going to mean the nade actually finds the kill. So Ezio forced to try and pick up the time as the push is about to unfold here. North Texas need to get themselves a break. All going to the game clock for now. Who will make the first move?
Andrew.
They have an advantage, and they have the numbers. Denpai does not check the right corner, and Andrew makes the pinch happen. They're going to be able to break and get themselves the potential 25 seconds.
What a read from Andrew. You want to stay woke real quick. Why not? You're in the middle of the plane. No one's contesting you. You go ahead and say, I'm going to try to hit a pinch here, fam. Comes away with 2. Beautiful play from Colorado, but it doesn't amount to as much success as I think Buffalo fans all over Colorado were hoping for, as North Texas still recover the scrap time. But now we go back to where Colorado looked their best, over to P5 in front of Wood. This is where they really soaked up the majority of 60 seconds the last time around, looking to do the same. And for the moment, there are 50-50 block parallel spawns coming through until Dustino finds the kill in the back. So an opportunity for the Mean Green to work their way with proximal spawns, but you can see Bugs already ready for this, will take down Rudd, and that will mean that the Buffaloes once again hold strong initially.
I've never seen the P5 spawns flip as much as they have in this game, Alan. It feels like every single time there's control for one team, they're immediately lost. And this is now mid lane being fought for. Will be one there for Denpai, but they still have to try and break in towards the point. Ezio finds two. Bugs slips in to contest the time. 20 seconds to play for. Spence gives him the challenge, but it's Bugs and Andrew once again winning out on some crucial time late in towards this game. This is going to give them a bit of a cushion, but you can see the contest wanting to come through. North Texas trying to make sure the pressure is on and do not want to give them an easy rotation. Ezio already finding two is going to be able to loosen up a bit of the defense to see if they can break on in.
The Colorado ARs have lit things up really since the first rotation. Remember back, Rudd was like 10-4 at one point in time. He's now 28-29. So he's really been getting a lot of trouble over the last rotation of Hills, and that's kind of why you see this kind of running in the first one forward, but not having a lot of help, and Colorado is profiting off of this. Bugs with another two, and the AR line for Colorado have cleared everybody off. You're going to be able to try to play for the artillery strike. I think you only actually put down one tick, and well, how about it? It's actually one target that does find success, but in the end, it's Spence, the last one to survive. North Texas still able to contest the hard point.
You just got to hold on towards the spawns here. If you can contest the time, great, but you know North Texas can't win off of this hill, and you can win off of the next one. Ezio caught in a bit of a tough situation, so will end up falling, and now you can see those white members on the mini-map looking to back up a bit. Has Rudd found an angle to slip on through? He does stay alive, but Bugs gets the call out, and Big Criteria cleans up the second. Big rotational kills coming on through as Andrew's responsible for the front, and Andrew delivers, holding on towards his life, getting a kill. CU Gold can close things out.
North Texas will have one hit. It's going to have to come through the front. Denpai, good wall banks, but not good enough. Andrew able to stay alive. 2:34 is where the clock will stall. Dustino inside yellow. He will eventually be taken out, but he's gained a lot of time to allow North Texas to see one more potential hit. Rudd, he was so big in the first. Can he be good here in the last rotation? Sure, why not? Him and Spence will clear. 30 seconds still to play. Both teams can still win it here on P2, and Andrew's trying to make a play from the back.
Andrew could make it all happen, but here comes the streaks. Big Criteria finds one. Bugs and Ezio win their one-on-one battles. We go back to the point, and it's Andrew here. Spence can't find value. Ezio shredding them to pieces. There needs to be a contest, but no contest comes through. Wow. University of Colorado, they clutch up, and they take map one.
That is an unbelievable amount of composure from Colorado. You're getting destroyed by Run in the first three hard points. They slow down. That's the whole thing. You just feel like a wash of calm come over Colorado, and it happens right as we get to the fifth hard point. They do a really nice job making sure that the third hard point stays scrappy, like you mentioned, typically does. You're able to still contest some time on P4, but then make sure the entire time in that 30 seconds or so on the backside of the fourth hard point, get yourself set up for Wood. They don't let a second drop. And you really did feel that was when the momentum started to change a little bit when it comes to Colorado, really making sure those ARs were set up appropriately. Beautiful 20-point win for Colorado Gold. And we didn't mention this at the top of the show, but that is North Texas' worst game mode. If you're going to find an upset somewhere, you better take that first hard point. So mark the box already. Colorado with a really solid start.
And hey, we said, getting one of the first three maps is crucial for as far as taking this series, because we go towards two maps at the end that they're maybe not as familiar with, where, a lot more variants are kind of up in the air for you to take advantage of. So the fact that they strike first is big for the momentum and big for their confidence, taking down a team that, is obviously ranked pretty high for as far as what we have in this division at the moment. So it's a big win. And you also have to give a pretty big shout out towards Andrew for that game as well. He found a lot of pinches that just ended up kind of leading towards breaks or led towards the chance to be able to kind of flip out the spawns. A lot of big moments. Ezio too, with a great AR locking things down after that first rotation. So that is a big win. I think one that we weren't totally expecting, right? We were thinking in that first rotation, at least I was, Alan, I was like, oh boy, this is what this series is going to look like. And
55
you
to
go
nothing.
and say, yeah, hold your tongue there, James. We still got a whole map to play.
That's the thing about, maps like Apocalypse, maps like Checkmate, maps like
Sure.
Garrison, very rotationally favored. So if you just win one good gunfight on rotation, all of a sudden you're looking at 60 plus seconds that is essentially yours for the taking. So, looking forward now to a raid, search, and destroy. Good news here for North Texas. 7-1 on the map overall since they've been able to play, and it's on one of their stronger game modes, 13-5 in search and destroy. And typically their wins are pretty steep, their losses are pretty narrow. So a great game mode here for North Texas if the Mean Green want to try to find a way to bounce back. Just comes down to, will they be able to? Because on the other side, we talked about this before the show started, the opening 3 maps were actually pretty darn favorable for Colorado Gold.
Exactly. I think that's the one takeaway that you have. So it's a little bit different when you're preparing for a series where both teams are really strong on it, because you're either trying to adjust and adapt to what they're doing on the fly throughout the entire series, or you're coming in with a game plan to try and say, all right, this is how they've been playing, this is how they're doing it. And, with maybe a bit of the film being out there now behind this team, you can kind of identify what their strengths are. Sure. And how you're going to be able to kind of, stop them from doing what they usually do on this map. Not to say that's going to be easy, but at least you can kind of come in with some of that preparation here for CU Gold. So I think that's going to be the idea coming in towards, and I'm hoping to see something that they might be able to kind of pull out here for us that can either be taken away the middle of the map, things that we've been seeing CDL teams now do on the attack to be able to throw off the defense and make sure that their defensive line isn't going to be as structured and as strong here. So I think that's a lot of what we could end up getting.
Yeah, very excited to see how this one kind of unfolds here, because on the same front, for Colorado Gold, their search and their control has been pretty solid. That's both 9 and 6 on both of those game modes overall. So that's where you're hoping for a bounce back. Now, just to kind of look forward here as far as what else is to come for both of these squads, not just in this matchup, but again, we talked about the implications about North Texas trying to get into the top 4, Colorado trying to get into that middle 4, just trying to stay in the top 8 overall. Colorado doesn't just have to beat North Texas here. They've got Texas State afterwards, another team that currently is also fighting for the top 4. For North Texas, though, you need to get this win, because coming up, you play Ottawa Gold, which will probably mean that you're going to take a loss. So there's a lot of implications as far as tiebreaker scenarios between our 3 Texas schools that are kind of battling for spot number 4. And even below that, you have to keep in mind that Texas A&M Maroon, they started to play again. So if they come in with D-Lo and they start wrecking face, there's an opportunity maybe for them to even maybe secure a last-second spot to get into playoffs. It's just been very strange to see, because, they literally forfeited 6 of their matches. So that's tough. It's very, very tough. But the word on the street is for Texas A&M Maroon, they're going to be playing for playoffs. So no matter where they find themselves seeding-wise, they're always going to be a major threat, just simply because of the D-Lo factor that's there. But that's for another conversation at another time. Let's jump into map number 2 as we're loading in. Raid for the search and destroy. And it'll be Colorado Gold on the offense, making an approach to A initially.
Ezio gonna lose his teammate as he backs down from the gunfight. So Bugs has been taken out, and that also probably gives a lot of information in North Texas, especially with Rudd kind of shouldering in and out of Zig, realizing that there's no one really inside middle of the map here. So it might just be a stack towards A, and they have made the adjustments. You got a player sitting open stairs and a player still sitting in Tiki. So North Texas just simply need to wait, kind of figure out what CU Gold is going to do. And with their positioning now towards the middle of the map, they might be looking to make a play here very soon.
Yeah, I actually really like this. This is just a lockdown from North Texas. Don't get too over-aggressive. Don't give away any kills. Make sure you can play for each other's trades. And then beyond that, you've got Denpai who can just make sure nobody rotates through driveway to B. So it's a really solid setup overall. Nice little bounce pass there for Criteria. He does not get the tag onto Rudd, though. So they might think that this left corner is clear. Another big long-range gunfight from Spence. He finds his second kill overall. Rudd going for some wall bangs, gets a hefty amount of damage, but has to go to the pistol. He will find one. And as the surround started to come through, big Criteria is able to find the first, but needs to find 3 more to try to find this first round.
Yeah, not too much time on the clock to be able to do it. Might just play his life. Doesn't want to give over maybe a kill for anyone working for Streak. Spence with 2. Not to say it's close, but he'd love to have it. The challenge comes through. Big Criteria takes down 1 more. But the trade is there in the end. And I'm not sure if that was from Spence or not. Either way, North Texas, they hold on with the defense.
Yeah, I really like it. Flat out. I just think the fact that you get this first opening kill off the middle, And you just sit there and say, let's not overpeak anything. You mentioned Rudd just kind of throwing shoulders through Zig. And he sits there and says it's not worth it. He's got a teammate to come help him. I believe it's Dustino who works over the middle. You know that Denpai is going to be watching over from the top of statue. Just lock everything down. Make Colorado make a play and do your defense. And that's exactly what unfolds. So really good defense so far for UNT, but now they're tasked with trying to make things happen offensively. That was weird.
Yeah, that was... So it looks like, I guess, the teams had set the pre-round timer to like 30 seconds,
like
which means we're gonna get a lot of time to like wrap up these rounds now. So we don't have to feel forced to get these color points out, Alan. You know, maybe this is the move. You know,
I like it. Just a little bit of Counter-Strike round playing going on right here. Another long-range first blood for Den. That'll be enough to allow the bomb to get planted here at B. It is going to be set up for a laundry post plant, but Andrew, he does find the kill at the last second before the bomb is planted. 1v1 over towards laundry stairs that Ezio takes away. And now you look at the 1v1 opposite, as there's a play around the flank. Criteria just trying to keep his life as he's been figured out.
Oh, Spence takes him down. So big Criteria. Got a couple kills last round. If you can get a couple more in this one, well, he's going to be able to tie things right back up. Bomb is going to be going down at B. You got Denpai up top. Big Criteria has to try and read, and it is so difficult, especially with a sub, to try and retake this. Not sure if he saw the peek or not there, but he will find the snapper on towards Denpai. So 30 seconds left. You know the other player did end up planting the bomb here, which just means you're going to have a bit of information, but you have to win this challenge for Spence with an AR.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough look. Taking a lot of time is Criteria. Too much time, I would say. He's going to have to try to hop this. Waits for maybe one more challenge. Will be rewarded with it. What? Oh my goodness. He smokes him. I mean, big Criteria might need to open up a line of barbecue sauce with the smokehouse he just put on him. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's not good. And that's also a hot Spence too, right? We're talking he's already 4-0. Bomb goes down. He gets that kill. He is so close to streaks and just a massive clutch. The fact that you get the kill is fantastic. The fact that you're able to also get the defuse on top of it is incredible. So a big play here for Big Criteria to be able to find himself some value and find CU Gold also, you know, a round that they likely should not have won.
Big Criteria barbecue sauce. You want to smoke your brisket, smoke your kills? Add the Criteria barbecue sauce. Comes in 4 zesty flavors. It's my promo announcer voice. Do you like that?
Yeah. I want that some more. Can I get more of that one?
That's unreal. That might be one of the biggest smokes that we've seen, like, so far. Not just in College Con. I don't think we've seen a smoke like that even in Challengers sometime. Well, it's going to be good for Colorado to tie this game up at 1. Still threatening to try to get the offense going. Similar setup for North Texas as well defensively. 2 through the middle and then ARs on the outsides, of which Spence has already gotten the bottom bedroom.
Very slow round. Just a nice change up here. CU Gold. If they could get a first blood rather than being blooded, this would be a good spot. And Andrew delivers not with 1, but 2. No trade there for Dustino. And Ezio finds a third, which means that Spence would have to get a 1v4 here, and well, it is not going to be easy by any means. We saw Criteria get the 1v2, but boy, oh boy, Spence, he's got his hands full.
He absolutely does, and he's on the flank with an AR, and it looks like Colorado are very aware, although he does find the first. Underneath 30 seconds to go, though, and Bugs is in a, I don't know how you win this gunfight coming up here. He's going to have to. Bugs misses a lot of shots. Oh,
a lot of shots.
Give me a Men in Black deneuralizer for that gunfight. But still, it's good for Colorado. 2-1 up.
This play here, though, I mean, Andrew does this alone, right? When we talk about a lot of these laundry hits happening, it's usually because, you know, someone is also either hitting the front or the side so that you can kind of pinch it at the exact same time to get the initial control and play for that trade. But the fact that you don't trade out Andrew and he makes that play alone is just terrible for the side of North Texas, because you lose that control of laundry that early in towards the round and you feel so pressured across the map for as far as where everyone else is kind of located at. So that's a big round there for CU Gold. They're starting to get a little bit more explosive, and they also got a first blood, which is exactly what we wanted to see heading in towards this third round.
Yeah. Wow. All right, North Texas. I mean, at a certain point, you're going to win 2 in a row. Would love to see it here rather than later. And it's going to be a 4-man stack over towards B. Den is likely going to be sitting topside Art with an AR. Aggression everywhere else, though. A good opening angle from Rudd, able to find first blood onto Andrew, which will make life a little bit easier, but they still don't have possession of the B side as of yet, and you have to always kind of keep in the back of your mind that Criteria is in a spot to where he could flank through Zig, and he looks like he wants to eventually. It just comes down to the timing of when he wants to make that call.
This is a bold play. They don't have laundry control per se, but they're going to drop the bomb forward anyway. And Ezio is back here. He's got a teammate with him. They still haven't positioned back laundry. This is a really weird setup right now for the side of North Texas. They need to win the initial gunfights or things could end up turning sideways very quick. Dempai, position known, doesn't find the kill, gets tagged up in return. The retake now needs to happen, and now they've lost Andrew. Make that a second. Big Criteria. It's pulled off a clutch already, but 20 seconds left. Has to cut through 3, and not really the time to do it.
No, not really. It's on 2 in a row. Not a lot of consideration for streaks, and he doesn't even fully check his right. This is awkward. Both players just on opposite sides of the wall from one another. Not enough time to get the defuse, so it's just playing for kills at this point. And there might not even be another point of contact. One more outside by driveway pillars. So 3 in a row there for Crit. That means that we go 2-2. Good round for North Texas.
It was a good round, but I'm still actually really surprised by the setup, because when you're planning for back laundry, usually you have a player in laundry, or you have at least a player, you know, kind of watching the back jungle area with an AR. Like, that's, you know, the most ideal setup. That one is a little bit interesting. It's kind of 2 and 2, while one player plays in garden, the other one plays in laundry, just kind of, or bottom laundry rather, and kind of just figures out maybe where they're attacking from so they can start working for the kills. And luckily enough, the kills do come through, so the setup will hold for themselves. 2-2. CU Gold looking to try and get a response round. Big Criteria on 3 in a row. Keep that in mind. He's been pretty hot so far in towards this game, and working towards streaks could absolutely be on the table.
Just comes down to, again, at what point do you actually try to play for those streaks, right? I mean, that last part of the first, or the most recent round, you're just playing for kills. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Not a big deal. But at 3, the consideration starts to become a little bit more serious, but this time it's Andrew who tries to streak once more over towards laundry. Will be shut down. Bugs was not able to successfully watch over him. And Dustino is by himself. Will find another elimination up close. That's Bugs with the bomb, and now a 2v4 situation for the Buffs.
And I think CU Gold has been really, really slow in a lot of these situations where you almost can't afford to be. Yeah, you're at a massive disadvantage, but you kind of need to make something happen, especially with the bomb now dropping by the van. So if you have any hope at being able to win this round, it's going to have to be now. Big Criteria on 3 might be looking for a bait, just trying to get some shoulders out, playing for some information. Denpai up top, watching over. Anything that's going to be happening by Art, we'll have in player 6 and player 5 right in the middle of the map. And now you're down to about 25 seconds left. Ezio does check his corners, so 3v2 as they're starting to work closer and closer towards the site.
The question is, will they have any clearance of Rudd in the middle of the map? And they're going to try to go it. Wait, what? What?
Miscommunication.
Which direction are we going there, Buffs? North Texas, again, just in a really solid spot. I mean, no matter which direction that Colorado Gold wanted to go, there would have been a defense member waiting for them, and then one more there to try to play for trades, as we see represented here by Spence in the final kill cam. But still, the lack of commitment was definitely a bit concerning, to be sure, at least in the tail parts of that 2v4.
And we talk about, you know, when we see some of that miscommunication kind of play out for us, that is absolutely one of those moments where Big Criteria is saying, all right, let's go behind Pool House. And then it's the other player saying, I don't think we have the time. And then they both go kind of opposite directions at the same time and come together when it's too late. So it will be no streaks there for Big Criteria as he is cleared out in that round as well. So North Texas feeling a little bit better as they're right back in control. Offenses have been a little bit interesting. Just about everything going over towards B except for that first round. And that's exactly what North Texas are going to look to do again.
Aggression once more. This time double stack defensive over by Laundry. Ezio good for the first, but Bugs falls right next to him. Still have 2 members for the Buffalo sitting mid-map to collapse on this if and when they choose. Decent stun angle for Rudd, but it will not connect. Ezio will forfeit Laundry, and we'll just go 3v3 pretty stalled out from here.
Got player 5, though. Working a bit of an angle. Could open up for something in towards the middle of the map here. no one's fully watching it. Big Criteria looks to be positioned kind of down low, so actually he's by the steps, so we'll look to take the gunfight if it comes. Rudd, though, finding Ezio, makes Big Criteria wanting to make a play somewhere around the map, and getting closer towards the end of the round means that Rudd's going to try and drop this, and this is in a different angle here for himself, but it will go down.
You can kind of see the reason why Criteria decides to rotate through Kitchen is because UNT has planted for Laundry every single time they've gotten the bomb down so far at B. Criteria will recognize no one's in top Laundry. A couple of gunshots over by the statue means that it's going to have to be on Criteria to make a play. He does find a little bit of maybe an angle, but Spence and Rudd are able to stay alive, and well, from there, running out to his death means that that'll be 3 rounds in a row for North Texas, up 4-2 all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly. Just a massive changeup. And you can also just see, how punishing it is when you lose your ARs at the beginning of the round and you have to retake a site like B with the subs. It's just so difficult to do because of the headies and the longer range that you kind of have available to yourself when you're trying to break through dividers or break through Laundry. It's just not going to be easy ever. And North Texas starting to maybe figure some things out. There's a reason they're very strong in this map mode combination. It's starting to show, and they might be able to really give themselves an advantage if they can keep on locking down their defenses.
All right, Colorado, must-win offense here. Don't want to go down 2-5. And honestly, we haven't seen either team really get a look at the A bomb site yet. I would love to see them maybe try to pull something out here. Just don't get first blooded. That was the big thing. And Spence was the one in round number 1 to do it. Underneath, he's playing a similar angle, but this time he will be flashed and naded backwards. Ezio in a corner, 1v1. It will not unfold into first blood, but meanwhile, through the open stairs, Rudd try to hit a quick play. He falls, but Dustino finds a trade to keep things level at 3 apiece.
It's also the bomb. A lot of the times, the bomb carrier is actually dying for CU gold on these attacks, so you have to retrieve it. And Big Criteria might be the person to do it. He's also the farthest person pushed up right now by Pool, so he might be looking to make a play of his own. As Spence is trying to lock him down, well, he will spot him out. Can't finish off the kill. 37 HP here for Criteria. But they love to take their time here, Alan, and we're getting lower and lower on time. And Dustino, he's got a pinch right into the middle of the map. He finds the kill. Massive advantage now for North Texas.
It was only a matter of time, you felt like. And Spence should have known the fact that both of the AR players for CU Gold are staying passive. Well, now he'll know for sure that Andrew has played forward, and that was a huge 1v1 that Ezio could not find the last couple of shots with. And that will be now 4 rounds in a row for North Texas. Mentioned that this was by far one of their better game modes overall, and they're starting to really showcase it here in the last handful. 5-2 up, 1 more will do it, and I think if you were a betting man, Visions, you would probably figure that North Texas will once again try to get the bomb planted over by B, because every single time they've gone there, they've been able to plant it.
It's worked. That's exactly it. So you probably would be betting on that, and now you have to have a plan for CU Gold. You just aggressively send 3 people over here to shut it down, and if they go away, they go away. I mean, you have to make some kind of an adjustment, right, when things have been going this wrong. But I think the thing that's really impressed me so far is North Texas have been very patient when they get advantages, and CU Gold just can't afford to be blooded in this round if they're going to be able to pull off any kind of a comeback here in map number 2. We'll see what the plan is. It is going to be a 2-stack back towards B, but this offensive aggression right back here for North Texas.
I was about to say, for Colorado, I want to see this double hit over through the middle result in something, and it does in a major way. 2 kills coming through for Andrew. Now Criteria, a lot of space to work around the back. They will reveal that Denpai is playing inside of Art. Looking to maybe, I was going to say, maybe just double chow him, just play the trades here, but they'll give him up the position. And now all of a sudden, Denpai has a possibility of really finessing his life for a little bit longer, but the problem is the bomb is down. Someone has to pick that up, and apparently the decision will be made that Denpai will be that guy. But Ezio once more from the middle of the map finds the elimination. Now the Buffs sitting in a 3v1 should be their 3rd round here.
It looks to be. Dustino maybe can get away with a kill or 2. That'd be ideal, right? On 4 in a row. And he does spot out Ezio. Will he try and chase and run him down? Yes, he will. Finds the kill. 1v2 now, and this is a tough spot. It's like, do you want to try to play for the 1v2? Do you just want to play for the streaks? I think playing for the streaks here is absolutely okay, but Dustino, he might have other plans for us. Andrew gives him a shoulder. Challenge there. Can't finish off the kill. And now with 10 seconds left, this absolutely should be CU Gold locking up this round.
It just comes down to Dustino. He needs to play his life here on 5. Was considering taking another challenge. Still open to it, maybe, but there will not be an opportunity to find his 6th elimination. Again, this would be just icing on the cake, though. You feel like for North Texas, the win conditions are plentiful when it comes to trying to find this last round for UNT. So you're really not looking at those streaks as a must-have. But hey, if you find them, you probably win the round. So I don't even know where I'm going with this. If you find a 6th and 7th kill, the round's probably over. So.
The problem has been offenses, and the only criticism that I really have here for CU Gold is sometimes they're giving away their life without a trade coming through, or they're just playing too slow when they drop down to these 2v2s or 2v3s. Not to say it's ever easy to try and maneuver on the map when you're down a man, but you have to do it a little bit quicker if you're actually going to be realistic about winning the round itself. And I want to see that here. I'm hoping that CU Gold have somehow recognized that, because the big problem so far on this map has been a lot of their offenses, but they're not going to go back towards A. They're going to see if they can maybe get something going by B. And well, Andrew did find that 2-piece earlier on, but he has been tagged up. Big criteria falls down, and already first blood to North Texas.
And Justino, I love this play. Just get aggressive to the middle of the map. Able to take care of Andrew, who was the furthest Buffalo forward. 2v3 situation, still doable, but the last 2 members for Colorado are pretty much up a creek without a paddle. Although, goodness, Denpai was taken down extremely low. Bugs nearly got an opportunity from behind. Ezio finds one. Doesn't expect the second, but trades are decent. 1v1. Bugs versus Spence. And Bugs does have the bomb to play with. Just comes down to that proactivity that we've been talking about. Will he actually be the one to be proactive? Timing not great here. The shot's decent. Wants to take the second challenge, but Spence gives it up.
Spence top fragger right now. Is he going to spot him out on the bomb? Nate's going to come through. Doesn't tag him up, so he doesn't get the information. That means that this is your window to try and plan if you're Bugs. And he will try and drop this down. Little stun check now comes through, and this should connect, and it does. Bugs can hold the heady. Spence here for the challenge. Gets him tagged up pretty low. Bugs goes for the reach out and absolutely destroys him. CU Gold still alive in map 2.
So that smokehouse business that's opening up in Colorado might need to be a partnership here. I mean, Bugs had to have been a bullet. Oh, he's only half. Wow, I thought a lot more connected than that. But this second challenge, barely missing a shot, doesn't take any damage. Unbelievable gunfight. And I could kind of feel it in your voice, like, hey, Bugs, if you want to plant, now's the time. We're kind of inching them and edging them like a father pushing his son to learn how to swim into the deep end. Like, just go. Get the bomb down.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta throw them in the pool, you know? And we do finally get it, but the resurgence here for CU Gold. You took down the top frag. You took down the best performing member here on North Texas. Bugs got to be feeling great. He finds 3 in that last round. CU Gold staying alive, but North Texas, they're finally going to give us a bit of a change up here round. They're going to look to try and attack A, and they've already made some decent ground criteria. I don't know if he spots anything, but there's a chance for an early bomb plant.
Yeah, he's playing really passively, but Andrew mid-map. Nice little angle to play off of. Ezio gets a tag off the Semtex, but the bomb still gets planted, and Rudd can stay alive. Look at Bugs on the back. He's going to try to play around. We'll get a trade on dispense, but now his position will be revealed. This is still a very doable 2v3, especially if Rudd can walk away with his 1 kill. Denpai in a 1v2. Up top, finds the first. Stays alive, but he falls off the map! Are you kidding me?
That's a had bad, Alan.
I'm already marking it down, brother. I'm already right.
No way did that just happen. I mean, that's like almost the exact same scenario that happened to Glaister when he fell off the map here on the weekend. And boy, oh boy, that's probably a round that you lock up too. We talk about the 1v1 in the position where you have the bomb down in your top pool house. You can just give the shoulders, little checks, play your life, get back behind cover, and lock that one down. And well, CU Gold say, oh, he just threw his life away. All right, let me just get on this bomb. And now Bugs, who's also on 4 with the bomb plant, could potentially be working for streaks if he finds a kill or 2 here in this round 11.
I mean, this is what the
wild.
Heck? Jeez. Is Colorado barbecue a thing? by the way?
It's about to be.
It's about to be. I will be the first angel investor into that business. Buffalo Barbecue. Dustino finds first blood, but it is immediately traded. 3v3 with Colorado on the offense. North Texas still threatening through the middle of the map, but the only player through laundry is Denpai. So he will have to be very wise, and I love this. Rotate around long. You've got the pivot point of criteria being here, and nobody from North Texas is watching this potential angle through bedroom. If they get good timing and check open stairs, this is a free kill potentially. But Spence, they're not going to double shell it though. Spence is able to get away with his life, but right criteria from the middle of the map does eventually get the trade. We go 2v2.
Oh, this bomb looks to go down. Ezio not going to waste any time. Big criteria gives a challenge to Rudd. And once again, a 1v1 Ezio versus Denpai. Denpai gives it the peak. Ezio finds the kill. CU Gold. 2-5 comeback to go 2-0 up in the series.
Unbelievable. Big criteria just holds his life. He's the pivot point for this entire play. No one even bothers to challenge him. And as soon as you come around the corner, you're just diligently clearing off to kind of, what are you, that little banister that's right there. Oh my goodness. I mean, we've seen some collapses, but dolphin diving off the top floor
takes the cake, doesn't it?
Oh man, dude.
Wow. Oh, dude, like CU Golds. They're on their map mode combination too. North Texas are sitting pretty. They're up 5-2. We just need one more round to get the dub here, guys. That's it. Not the case. CU Gold have other plans for us, Alan. And yeah, they take 4 in a row. A lot of big clutches, though, take place in that. 2 1v1s, right? That you look back on. Actually, a third if you count really diving off the map. I mean, kind of, right? But a lot of big moments that took place there for Colorado to be able to work themselves back in towards that game.
Unreal. Well, we've got a raid control to come up next. Before we do, we're going to step away for a small break. Do not miss it. Map 3 coming up. A must-win matchup for Colorado Gold, but the same can be said for North Texas. It would have to be a reverse sweep, though, for the Mean Green. We'll find out if they can get step 1 of the 3-step process underway when we return right after this. Welcome back, everybody. A very interesting first 2 maps, both of which you could label as a comeback for Colorado Gold. One a little bit sexier than the other, but a win is a win at the end of the day. And apparently we're opening up a Buffalo Steakhouse or Buffalo Barbecue Steakhouse or something with what's going on with all of the gunfights we've seen so far. Colorado looking very solid up 2-0 right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking really solid. And we're going to have to think of a name for that steakhouse by the end of this broadcast here, which might not be a lot of time because it could be done in one map here. But yeah, really good spot to be in. I mean, I think really unexpected is really the best word you could honestly use here for this Colorado squad, because I thought that North Texas certainly had a slight advantage, even if they were playing a lot of the maps that CU Gold looked strong on. I thought they had the upper hand. Has not been the case so far. CU Gold has been pretty consistent through the first respawn and will obviously just had a crazy comeback. So we'll see what they can get going here for themselves as they are in the defense for the start of this control. So far, so good for North Texas as they find the first couple of opening kills and get some progress done on it.
As I say, Ezio and Big Criteria could still challenge this, but with both of them falling, this is going to have to be a chalk and rotate scenario, of which Spence is already on the rotation to get over to B quickly. So now all of a sudden the Buffalo's in a very weird spot as they have to deal with the push through from A plus the couple of members that have already made their way over towards this B site quickly. And oh boy, Dustino is on 4 in a row. Will eventually drop, but a very convincing start so far for North Texas, but everything comes to a bit of a calm as Colorado will reset up their defense. The only thing is they have not really accounted for Rudd in the back, at least not as of yet.
No, they have not. And Rudd finds the kill there on towards Andrew. Another one here. Could just blow this point up, and it does come through. Dustino finds one at the same time. One more for Rudd, almost there. Just a bullet maybe would have got the job done. Big Criteria has to wait for the regen before he can challenge. But progress on B is starting to come through. They got 2 players stacked in the zone. That first tick is in and the second on the way as Dustino finds himself too with a hot start at 6-1.
Yeah, this first... Well, we'll talk about here in a moment to see if Buffaloes can actually touch this in time. They will not. So a bit of a misevaluation, I think, for Colorado Gold there. You've got 2 players that fall off the rip by A. You've got 1 player that's actually gotten into art, 1 more in the middle. Just stay there. You have the potential of waiting for your teammates to come back and then setting up a pinch, but they decide to challenge and they fall. And then this play that comes through for Destino to open up the point and then eventually Rudd in the back, you need to know that, okay, They've got 2 players on the point already. It's just the 2 of us, one through basketball, one through money. We cannot 2v4 retake this. Chalk up 1 tick of progress, wait for your teammates, and then try to play a full retake. A bit of a mismanagement, I would say, overall, as far as how Colorado Gold will try to play retakes there on both those control zones, and it leads to a very clean opening for North Texas's attack.
Well, let's see if their offense is better than their defense, as they're going to go for the same plan. The problem is that they don't win any of the initial gunfights, and I don't think Ezio is going to get anyone either. He doesn't, so already losing 5 lives without finding any trades. Not the start you want to have. The fire is lit under North Texas right now, but it is Andrew able to at least find one to create a bit of an opening towards B.
But you, again, have to just manage your time, manage the space available to you. Clearing out the middle of the map is a key, and they were able to find the lock to open up with that key. Spence, back basketball, tagged up heavily. There will not be a second challenge, though, as Ezio is going to sun himself onto these pool chairs. Denpai for 1 will fall. Ezio trying to stay alive, and those towels, my goodness, what are they made out of? Kept him safe for what feels like forever. No, definitely not.
Rudd gonna make the fast transition now over towards A, where it looks like there could be a bit of an opening, but you have to consider the life symbol, you have to consider the flank. Justino, not only does he find 2, but he was on 5. That streak could have been a chance to come in, but will be taken out. Spence now, a chance to maybe be able to find bugs, but trade is in. Pressure still absolutely here on CU Gold's shoulders. 21 and 13 lives, 40 seconds remaining. They're finally going to get 3 players on A, and this means there should be an extra minute put up on that clock.
But the problem here is the live count. I mean, you have to be... You've one of 2 choices. You have to be incredible with playing trades in this next minute, and then you can play for the point. Or, what I would suggest is try to set up something for an initial break on a more traditional line, and then full flood and full stack. That's really your only win condition. There's no way you're making up 10 lives here when you're down 20-9. It's just not going to happen. So this play to the back, I would say, is completely ill-advised, and, well, you're seeing exactly why, as North Texas exemplified the point right there.
Don't have any control over Pool House. You got to cut through the middle of the map. Ezio, big win, but still have to cut through everyone without dropping anyone, really. Now down to 6 lives, and it just becomes so difficult. A full wipe and a stack is probably your only chance at being able to win out on this round. Andrew does find a bit of a window. Gets 1, gets 2, but still too many players up and alive around the B point, and this means now the final 4 lives here for CU Gold.
Yeah, I'll go back to the point here. It's just after you capture that A zone down double the lives, you don't have the ability of playing around the back anymore. It just doesn't exist. You essentially, the only win condition you have is to stack the point overall. So you have to clear bedroom, you have to clear middle, you have to find the kills, find the white, get on the B zone, stack it. That's your really only chance at success. 2v12, and that'll be the round. So difficult stuff there for Colorado, but hopefully something that they can take away and learn from, because when you're down that many lives, you just don't have the ability of playing around the back like that.
And the openings have certainly been a problem so far for Colorado as well. We're talking about the last 2 rounds. North Texas have just found, the first couple of kills to be able to either ignite their offensive push, or it's been fighting for to shut down the offensive push completely, and then making a nice transition over towards the other zone to be able to do the exact same thing. And that's just going to limit a lot of the room and space that you have available to yourself here for CU Gold. So they pulled off a couple of comebacks here on the night. Really, the last 2 maps, a chance to do it a 3rd time, but they have to clean a lot of things up before we can confidently say it's going to come back here, Alan.
And just to kind of hit the statistic, this is the best game mode overall for North Texas. The 78% win rate overall on their controls on the season so far, and the margin is pretty favorable. But we've seen comebacks in every single map that we've had so far for Colorado. That definitely would not rain out of the possibility meter here. 1 tick of progress confirmed for UNT over by A, but off the respawn, they'll try to play over towards the opposite zone. Bugs try to find an opening elimination, not going to grab anything whatsoever. And now an opportunity for UNT not just to secure the first tick of progress, but stack for potentially the entire site.
Oh, Spencer's been so good at being able to get towards the other zone. Even if he doesn't find the kill, he gets a lot of information on where everyone is on the map and where they spawn. So with the stack, B actually goes over. The unfavored zone has been captured. Andrew may be hoping to find a couple of exits, and does bring home one, not the second. Rudd's going to be able to find the kill. So North Texas, a chance to be able to push in towards the back here. They got 3 members and finding them right off spawn. Big criteria taken a little bit low as Rudd's going to try and pepper him up with some shots. The push comes through. Ezio finds one, but Spence gets the trade, and right onto the second kill, North Texas goes.
Bugs, though, for 2. That will clear off a lot of the pressure. Just need to find this last kill on the Spence. Just contest the point for now. Wait for help. Make sure that Spence eventually falls. He does. Now an opportunity for Buffaloes to get their way onto the zone and maybe even push back North Texas, but the kills from Dustino have been good all game long. We'll get a very solid read off the artillery strike of where this defensive retake would come from. And, well, the strike itself will deny it. That will be a very quick 3-0 in the control for North Texas. Step 1 of what would need to be 3 for the reverse sweep has been completed.
That's really clean. I mean, as much as you touch on some of the mistakes, I think that did come through here for Colorado. North Texas just played a lot of these rounds very, very clean. Understood, where their strengths are, where they're able to kind of push the envelope and be able to put themselves in a good position to be able to close out a lot of these rounds. And it was just too tough at times, I think, for CU Gold to really get any kind of a handle on towards this game in any of the rounds that we saw, offense or defense. So that's a big one to come away with, especially after the way that you just lost, right? It's not too often that we see teams, even if they are going in towards one of their best map mode combinations, get 2-5 comeback. They're able to come through with a resurgence to get a hot 3-0 in towards the map number 3 to stay alive.
So looking at the apocalypse that's coming up next, you'd mentioned at the top of the broadcast overall here, Visions, the experience, obviously, with a brand new map coming through is not all that deep for either of the two teams. More so, though, for UNT, and really not being able to showcase themselves playing this map really whatsoever. On the opposite side for Colorado, I don't believe when I was looking at it that they have a win on either Apocalypse or on Express overall. And yes, that is indeed the case. 0-3 combined between those two map mode combinations. So where's your headspace at when it comes to the newer map 4 and 5 coming up?
Well, I would assume, and hopefully there has been some kind of prep and idea behind, all right, this is what's kind of been going wrong. And now that we've had more time to be able to watch it in CDL and kind of figure out how the pro teams are playing it, that always kind of trickles down, right? For as far as the amateur scene to get an idea on how they want to approach it. But I still feel like you're feeling pretty confident if you're CU Gold. You had a couple of nice maps that have come through off the back end of comebacks. You have shown that your composure is absolutely here. So even if you are looking at kind of an 0-3 record heading in towards the last 2 maps based off the previous series, I still feel like you're okay based off of how the first 2 games went.
Right. And just to kind of mention it for North Texas, they've played the map once, and it was very recently versus Oklahoma State. Not exactly the most tough opponent in the world, but it was a tight series overall. And they took that 250 to 195. So just kind of, again, re-emphasizing the point that this is a pretty fresh map, and we've seen some pretty close results overall on it. Remember, coming up after this, whether this ends in 4 or 5, you have to keep in mind that there's a lot of deciphering and deciding that has to go on with the Southwestern region. Specifically, Navarro College will be showcased next as they'll be playing up against Tulsa. And for Tulsa, really not a lot of opportunity to jump up into the top 8, but for Navarro, big matchup. They win it, and they pretty much should be surely in towards that top 8. They lose it, they could find themselves actually down in towards the bottom 8 overall of the regional qualifiers. So some things to look forward to there, but our matchup is starting off getting into map number 4, the Apocalypse Hardpoint. I'm not going to lie, both of us have been spending a lot of time watching this map, trying to learn it. We'll try not to be too ruthless, but we'll be pointing out the mistakes that happen. That's for sure.
Sure. And I feel like the best part is, well, 1, we haven't got to cast it together, so that's going to be great. But 2, I feel like the big factor is like whenever we get these new maps in towards rotation, it's just always fun because it's fresh. So I'm very curious to see what the strategy is. I think a lot of teams are playing very Temple side heavy when it comes to kind of the same mindset where we talked about almost the way Dallas played Azure Cave last year for as far as the hard points, right? Where it's playing off one side and making sure we're holding down the money hill around Temple. We'll see if either of that ends up coming through here for North Texas or CU Gold. But ladies and gents, it would have to be a reverse sweep if North Texas are going to scrape by with the win. CU Gold might not want to see another surge, and we'll see how this one starts to play out.
Very aggressive posture here for North Texas. One of the things you'll notice with them spawning on the favorite side is they likely will never move Spence from this position. The interesting thing, though, is that North Texas are committing their other AR to watching through the cave system. So if there were to be time generated for UNT in this first hardpoint, it would have to be by way of their subs, and well, none of them are existing, and already Colorado have pushed through this passive setup, and now they've actually flipped some of the spawns around. Just comes down to, can they clean up the kills to definitively make that the case? And the answer will be a definitive no in response.
Yeah, that's big because they're also able to now push out a little bit and kind of just fan out Dustino. Everyone else still playing pretty passive, so you can see the emphasis on making sure they really are locking down this Temple Hill that's about to spawn for us in 10 seconds. And well, Denpai is on one of the nastiest Cold War headies in the game, right? It is so difficult to take anyone out in this position, and you're starting to see why Denpai finding himself on a nice little force spree as that new hill pops. North Texas in a great position to come away with a lot of time.
Someone just needs to voluntarily go into the map and add a do not enter sign towards that cave area. No rotation should ever exist to try to break a hard point through that space. And you saw exactly why. So Colorado will be out of the first 20 seconds. They're going to look to set up a pretty desperate pinch here. 2 players through rugs, 2 from that cave system. You need to find this first kill, though. And while Ezio's position has been 100% made aware, and that will be a full 60 seconds for UNT. Not a great second hard point for Colorado at all.
It's not, and you still have to worry about Denpai getting streaks. On a map like Apocalypse, streaks can absolutely be very useful for as far as locking down a lot of these hills or breaking them open. And Rudd now might have just found a window to actually slip on through here. He will realize Ezio's close by, so he might play for the kill, and he does. Ezio will end up dropping. Rudd goes straight towards the back, and coming off of the time now, CU Gold in a bit of trouble. Bugs needs to find this kill. He can't. The spawns come in towards the back, and well, you can see it, Alan. They immediately flip things out.
Yeah, Apocalypse, like we mentioned during the checkmate, one of those maps that it could be very rotationally heavy, streaky for sure. Andrew from Top TV looking to make an individual play. We'll find one from behind. Sneaks away, tries for the turn and burn, but Denpai will find elimination. And this is, again, outside of the one moment where Andrew finds his way through, these setups have been near flawless for UNT.
They really have been, and it came off the back end of an individual play, right? It's not like it's really just, all of the teamwork coming together for CU Gold on some of those breaks. It's coming off the back end of someone kind of leading the charge and opening things up, and then they come through. So desperation could be seeping on through, but this is a good amount of time to get for themselves, plus 20 seconds to come away on this P3 hill. But now we'll start to look over towards the ruins area where things can not be easy to make your way through, especially with the close spawn in towards the back. We'll see what they can do. A couple big rotational kills, but they have to get through Rudd. Big criteria. Isn't a chance to try and trade this out, but doesn't go for the immediate challenge. So Rudd gets himself a great read now as he gets the regen. Might be able to pinch in from behind. Will he get the timing? He won't. And his teammates, though, are just cleaning up house as they're still locking down time here in ruins.
The awareness for UNT is incredible. You 3-stack 3 members over to the middle of the map to make sure that Colorado, they only, again, you cannot break a hard point by going through cave. You just never try. Just don't even bother doing it. So North Texas, aware of that, sit there and put 3 of their defensive members watching through the mid-cross, make sure that every single play coming through for Colorado on the back is contested, and it eventually allows them an opportunity for Rudd to read the play, hit a bit of a pinch. No kills required, though. And with 15 seconds to play, North Texas might as well go for this because you've already got members that are here, and you still are retaining the favorable spawns for the Armory coming up next.
CU Gold, really tough situation all around. Big criteria, going to get himself one, but doesn't read the second right behind him, and that means Dustino actually gets the shot punch there off screen as well. Ezio does come through for the trade. He has to now break in towards the point. Really tight hard point, not the easiest to break into with an AR. We'll see if they can in fact do it. Andrew from down low as you got big criteria up top. Teammate is there, which means that Andrew has a window to break through, and Andrew does in fact break through, finds the double. His teammates come through for the reinforcements, and now CU Gold a chance to collect some real time.
A required double kill as well because Colorado Gold and UNT both were spawning out. A little bit of parallel spawn situations. With that win, Colorado able to get their reinforcements back much sooner, and now North Texas have to essentially either chalk or try to finesse this back 20 seconds, and now they'll for sure have to chalk it. So an opportunity to, man, this is starting to feel familiar. North Texas dominate the first 3 hills. Colorado make the 4th one scrappy and break through for the 5th. Still a pretty significant gap to make up, and they're going to have to do it in the exact same fashion that the first rotation of hills went through, where they have to not just win this first hard point, but find a way to break the UNT setup around Temple.
Well, as we go back towards P1, it's good here for CU Gold. You got Andrew on a bit of a pinch play. Excellent shots on towards Dustino. Big criteria opens one up as well. A chance maybe to push through. Player 4 does in fact spawn out. There is a window. Do they find it? And do they break on through? All the kills end up dropping. There's only one more player in the back. They will flood the opposite side as Andrew is still on fire. Gets himself another kill, but now it's North Texas looking to try and grab the rest of the P1 time.
Colorado spawned bottom barrels in the middle of that engagement when North Texas, as you mentioned, was spawning all the way out. Very strange spawn situation, but it favors the Buffaloes. So with that, they essentially go 30 seconds each on the first hard point, but look at the setup for Colorado. They're in a really solid spot, but Bugs falls through that Godhead he has mentioned. Criteria picks it up, though. 5 in a row for him. Spence up top will put the streak to bed, and an opportunity for UNT off their initial attempt to actually break in and flip out these spawns again.
Do they read Ezio? It doesn't matter because the kill comes through, and yeah, that is just so incredible. I mean, you're talking about how difficult it is to break in towards this point, and Spence now is showing us what you can do once you break on through and get a setup in. 5 in a row. And you can't flood through the front of this entrance any longer because Spence has got it unlocked. So they'll come from the side. Ezio here, a big kill maybe to open up some room. Not going to happen. Rudd shuts him down. North Texas now over 200 points. Yeah. And CU Gold not in a great spot.
And look who it is again. It's Rudd 22 and 11 with a minute plus worth of hill time. I mean, this is the start that he had from Checkmate, but it's continued here on Apocalypse. Already pressure in the middle of the map from Spence, and this one feels like, I mean, you asked the question, somebody give me the answer here, Visions. You asked, are these teams going to be prepared? The answer was yes for UNT. Their setups look really, really good. Colorado, I don't know. They need to get to the lab quickly because their breaks have been all in the wrong places for sure.
It certainly has been, and they're in another spot where now they're just forced to clutch up, right, for Hill on end. I mean, they'd have to get good, 3 or 4 in a row, so it's not good looks. And North Texas certainly have it in them to close things out here with the setup here by Barrels. Looks like it might just be done. One last hit. Andrew, can he get in towards the point? Bugs finds a way in to contest for a second. Andrew will be able to find the trade. One more gunfight needs to come through. Andrew doesn't land all the Diamante shots, but the reinforcements are here. So North Texas looking for that reverse sweep, and it became a lot more probable as they've taken 2, and we go to a game 5 next.
2 convincing maps as well. I mean, let's just, call a spade here. They were up like 90 points on the Checkmate. They were up 5-2 on the search. Both go against their favor, but a quick 3-0 on the raid control, and then a 250-112 here, and it could have been even worse than that. But it does feel like North Texas is really kind of showcasing that, all right, no more nonsense. We're the better team. Let's prove that. Let's make sure we get through this quickly. And they were able to do that pretty nicely. But now we go to an express search and destroy, where the conversation, again, I think puts the focus and the lens on Colorado Gold. They've played this map, 2 times? 0-2 overall on it, I believe, if I remember that right. And you have to find a position to where you have adjusted. You've gone back through and said, this is how we want to play this map, because that did not exist on Apocalypse. Their setups were largely non-existent, and their breaks were all coming from the angles that you don't want to touch. So,
yeah, I'm really hoping that they've spent some time at looking at Express, because it is going to become, I think, one of the more popular maps in a lot of the rotations when we're talking about the vetoes that kind of unfold before we get into the best of 5. So this is an important one to see, one, if they have done that, and 2, I think the big takeaway from especially their offenses looking at raid was, they were just slowing things down and then making a move when it was like 30 seconds left. And when you start to do that and fall in towards a situation like that on Express, I feel like you really start to realize how punishing it is, because both sites you almost have to be able to move into first, get that initial control so you can get the bomb down, and if you do it too late, there's almost too many spots to kind of check from. So we'll see if that hopefully changes up as well, because that was something that was costing them on a lot of their offenses there on the map too.
And kind of going back to that map too, just one more time here, for Colorado's point of view, everything was very one-dimensional on the outsides of raid. They either went all the way around the outside to get to A, or all the way on the outside to play through B. There was very little presence offensively. I should actually frame that. Offensively, Colorado very rarely played to the middle of the map. Now, this map, a little bit different because one of the bomb sites is pretty much in the middle of the map, all things considered. But I'm still looking for those same things. Can Colorado put pressure on more than just one space offensively? Because that's where North Texas really kind of shined. When they took the middle of the map on raid, they were using that position much more to their prevail than Colorado was defensively. So I would be really interested to see if that conversation will extend now into map number 5 in the 6 spread search.
And now the shoe's on the other foot, right? You were up 2-0. Sure. There was no pressure. Well, now there's a lot of pressure because you have to be able to, one, stop the reverse sweep from coming through, and two, show us that you are able to actually show a bit of strength in the search and destroy. It's just not a matter of coming back. Let's see them actually take charge and maybe lead in towards this map number 5. That's kind of what we'll see. It's a new map. New strategies. They didn't show us a whole lot on Raid Allen, but maybe we'll get a bit of a change up going in towards Express S&D. It's going to have to happen. If not, then, well, they're going to receive another loss here up on the board.
And that would probably be the end of their attempts to try to break into top 8 as well. And there would have to be tiebreaker scenarios, but Colorado Gold, this is a must-win for them if they want to try to avoid the first round of the regional qualifiers. They'll still find themselves in the regional qualifiers overall, but it just comes down to do they play 2 games or 1 game to get into the playoffs. North Texas, Spence, first blood. That will open up enough of an opportunity for Rudd to immediately plan over towards A. And Criteria with an SMG really can't challenge this. And, well, as the bomb gets planted, he isn't even able to contest the exit as he had a stun out. And Bugs, though, mid-map, does turn things into a 3v3. Still doable, and you're looking at the Buffaloes to get this retake from behind.
Got to go quick. I mean, we know how you can finesse in and around this bomb site. And Big Criteria is looking to put on the Jets. Bugs on the pinch in from behind. Everyone collapsing, but Big Criteria loses the one.
Huge.
And now you have a big advantage in the 2v2. Rudd up top, just trying to play his life. Bugs is about to meet him. He's got 15 seconds to make a play. Neither engagement goes the way of Colorado. North Texas, good for their first offense.
Destino's kill initially is what wins this round. 2v3 situation, but you know for a fact the Buffaloes are playing 2 from behind for the retake. So as soon as you take care of the one up front, both players can just turn around and make sure that there is no chance for them to overwhelm you from the back. So really good stuff there for North Texas, using their first blood to their advantage to make sure they get the bomb down quickly. And then the post plant, a bit too formidable. So now Colorado Gold, what's going to be their play call for the offense? They're going to spread the map just a touch. Andrew just searching for information as he wallbangs through info. But it will actually be Bugs' long-range shots as he is the bomb carrier. Takes down Denpai, the only defense member for the Mean Green over towards A.
I hope they recognize this too. I mean, it's a free plant. They're here. Bugs is going to get the bomb down. Spence isn't going to have an angle, but he does, I believe, spot Ezio up top there, maybe for a second. He does, however, find Bugs coming right off of the bomb. So 3 versus 3. Have to see how the retake's going to come through here for North Texas.
Oh, well, it's not looking all that great, is it? 2v3 situation. Maybe a pinch opportunity. Rudd for 1. Stays alive, but loses his compadre of Spence. Criteria mantling. Rudd doesn't know if it's behind him or in front of him. Finds the kill. Wait a second. Opportunity still brewing with plenty of time. But does he know where Andrew is the real question. And this is, I feel like I'm Maven telling this. This is the problem with this setup. So many angles you have to clear. Rudd wins the gunfight, but there's not enough time. Oh, no. That was, oh, boy.
Oh, that's a moment where you're like, oh, thank God for the clock, man. Because, yeah, imagine losing that round as CU Gold with the way the last 2 maps have went. That would not have been good news, especially off the back end of what would have been a 1v3 clutch, right? Like, this is Rudd tagged up low, a little bit of aggression coming through for Big Criteria, trying to get a trade. Can't read exactly where he went. And then just nice finesse, but able to at least play the clock long enough where the kill doesn't matter. But still, Rudd for 4 in a row is going to put him on potential earnings for streaks.
Man, it's just, wow. I have words, but we'll save them. We've seen some things, though, in these searches. We've been places. We've seen things. Andrew, first blood on Dispense off screen over towards B, which is also outside of the focus for UNT. Not a great loss to have, but Colorado heavily stacked defensively still towards the B site. They're going to clear this, and now it's going to be down to a 3v4 retake, but Bugs, he can watch the exit that Rudd would be trying to make a play for. He's still on the bomb, and now eventually he'll go. Reads that information, and Ezio, meanwhile, does find the killer Denpai up top. So the retake coming through quickly for the Buffaloes. Okay, thank goodness there was some help there. I was about to say, what in the world?
Rudd streaks get shut down, and they'll be able to defuse the bomb. This was a much better retake this time around, and you can see them picking up a bit of the speed and tempo, which is exactly what I wanted to see for their offenses and their retakes here for defense. You have to be slow and methodical at times, but there's also only 45 seconds when you have that bomb down, so you have to be able to clear things out fast enough to be able to make a move towards that site so you can still get that defuse off in time. So I like a lot of these adjustments. CU Gold find themselves in a favorable position right now. They stop Rudd from getting any chance of early streaks here as he dies on 5 in a row, and you just come off the back end of a clutch round. So good look so far here and towards the map 5.
Everything has gone to A. This feels, again, a little bit deja vu-like, where both of our teams are preferring one side over the other. This time, though, North Texas getting aggressive with their defense at A. Dustino playing right through. Oh, the waiting room finds himself 2. It's initial first blood for Colorado, but the numbers now favor that of the defense of North Texas. A little bit of an exchange between him and Criteria, of which Dustino is going to be forced to back down, but 52 seconds to play for Colorado to make a move with this 2v3 situation.
And Bugs with the bomb, which means that Big Criteria could look to get a little mixy to kind of find a kill, potentially even the odds up here at a 2v2. And Bugs, I mean, he's just hoping that someone runs into him. So if no one runs into him, which with the way North Texas typically play their men advantages, no one will. And they're just going to wait for a potential plant. You got Rudd watching over B. You got 2 players watching over A. So you're in a great position, and Bugs is about to make that move. Dustino is going to spot him out as soon as he crosses. Doesn't take the shots. Going to wait to make the move, and the challenge should come through.
So it's fine 1. Dustino nearly doubles up. Big Criteria on 3. Rudd making himself maybe available. But yeah, not enough time here. Or is there? Nope, just barely not. Wants to try to play for the kill. Guesses incorrectly. Will eventually fall. UNT tie things up 2-2. And you want to talk about good retakes from Colorado Gold. This offensive defense, or this aggressive defense, I should say, a different look for North Texas. Both successful.
I just love the fact that this team, creates an advantage like Dustino right there. And what does he do after that? He immediately backs up, waits for his air to watch over him as he gets tagged up by that nade down low by A. And it's just little moments like this, I think, that really show why North Texas are good in search and destroy. I love the discipline that's been coming through here for them, and it's making sure that they are winning it on the rounds that they are creating advantages in. Unfortunate stun here for Rudd at the start of round number 5, but it's not going to stop the push. Another one's going to come over towards A. This time you got more of a kind of 3-stack for the side of CU Gold watching over the A site, but Big Criteria, the one that will likely have to make the play.
He sees some part of Bugs, maybe an elbow or something, but nobody watches Rudd play in the bomb. That's not great. A little bit too much focus on the players at the range. Ezio trying to cut off Spence, gets him with essentially 10 HP to survive, leaves things to a 1v1. But advantage you would have to feel tilts in favor of Bugs, who should know the bomb is down right on top of the site.
Well, we know how 1v1s have gone so far in the series for S&D.
Between Bugs and Denpai.
That too. Denpai, not too much of a map that he's got to worry about falling off of this time. Should be able to get this bomb down. Bugs could get good timing. Little check. It's just all on, does he hold this angle? Bomb's picked up. Bomb will go down. And Bugs is going to play for the 50-50 challenge here. He's going to go for the repeat. Doesn't know where he went, but there's not really too many spots that you can go. It's either inside the train or inside of control. So we should be able to narrow it down. Coming through the top of the train. Not this time. Denpai, he takes the 1v1 in North Texas. They take the lead.
It's tough. I think there's a big part of me that sits there and says Bugs needs to play a little bit more proactively, considering that you know that the bomb is down. You should know the bomb is down. I mean, your teammate got the kill there, no problem. There wasn't enough chaos unfolding to sit there and think that the bomb was picked up and retrieved and pulled back any further. So playing just for wait to retake, I think, is a bit too passive. I don't know, maybe a personal opinion aside. Regardless, very huge gunfight win for Denpai. Tilts the favor into UNT's back pocket. And once more, Colorado staying in the same spam spots over towards B, while the bomb starts to lean towards A, though this time much more passively than rounds prior.
Criteria has been good for opening up a lot of the sites they're looking to attack, but with this strategy, it looks like they want to create some noise almost by A and then rotate back to B, but Criteria doesn't really make any noise. He doesn't challenge into Dustino, so that means that everyone here for North Texas is going to start to move towards B with a chance to be able to drop this bomb. Bugs is going to drop. We'll get an immediate trade, so they know the push is starting to play out here, but Andrew's killing the Denpai should be good here for the plant.
But Criteria is kind of stuck right now. Awkward gunfight, it seemed to be. Dustino does take the victory, so now a 2v2 situation. And Ezio, ooh, I was gonna say, he runs right into Spence, who's waiting for him, but still wins the gunfight, leads things to a 1v1 as Dustino finds the trade. And Andrew has put himself in this back elevator. Good angle to see where exactly Dustino is coming from. Extends it just a touch. Andrew still trying to keep his life in the back. Dustino has to make the play. He's already given up too much time. He gets the kill, but can he get back to defuse? No. Not going to have it in time, so we'll go 3-3.
Yeah, it was super, super close, but just not going to get there. And he kind of was forced to make the challenge. I was actually a little bit worried with the way that he kind of played it in the end, because if he stays on the bomb and just challenges him, then there's a real likely chance that he does find the kill and then just hops on it because he's right on top of the bomb already. But not the case. He went for the risk down low. But Ezio's couple of kills here, and then on top of the bomb going down is what allows him to get that initial setup. Ezio also with another kill later on and towards that round that just absolutely smoked one in the hall. So good here for CU Gold. They're keeping it tight, keeping it close here on Express. But you can't ignore the fact that Dustino has been popping off here for us already, Alan. 9-5, been the big playmaker, and they have to keep shutting him down if CU Gold are, in fact, going to be able to get in control of this game.
Yeah, it's kind of pick your poison on the side of North Texas. It's Rudd as well on now 8-3. Stays alive. Oh, boy. Shades of shots. He's trying to finesse as much as possible, but Dustino is there to help him. So a very early 4v2. Dustino runs right into Bugs and still wins the gunfight somehow. Big Criteria able to trade, but leaves him in what would technically be a 1v4 situation, and everyone knows exactly where he is. Nades will try to make life difficult for him, but the difficult point is what exit do you want to pick? Does find an isolated 1v1 versus Spence, but can't lock down the shots, so UNT right back into the lead, 4-3 up. 4-3
up, and a lot of these initial battles that just keep coming through. It's just the ability to be able to work down low and up top, and if you're going to play aggressive defensively on this site by B, like, you have to be prepared to send 1 or 2 players through the middle of the map or 1 or 2 players down low with you to be able to hit the top so that you can kind of overwhelm the site and shut down the engagements if they are dedicating 3 or 4 players there, which is exactly what North Texas was doing. So very difficult from a defensive point of view, and they feel the wrath because of it. 4-3 now, North Texas back on towards the defense. Everything has been kind of taking place by B the last couple of offenses, but it will be CU Gold going back towards A.
Another aggressive setup for Dustino. Finds another free kill. It's the second time he's made that play happen, where Andrew is the only player moving forward. Rudd also aggressively on the flank finds a second. Oh, man. North Texas just having their way with Colorado Gold on these aggressive defensive setups. Leaves Criteria for a 1v4. Well, I'm not going to say it's a required win here because we saw them come back on a 2-5 situation in the raid search and destroy, but this one feels a bit different. Denpai finds the kill, puts North Texas on match point to potentially secure not only the overall W, but also what would have been and what would be a reverse sweep.
Big emphasis on potentially here. We saw a nice comeback there in map 2. Would take a lot to do it. I think things have looked a lot more controlled for North Texas, and it looks like they're starting to get a handle on it, but I would have said that exact same line when they were 5-2 up in raid, so who knows? We'll see exactly what happens. CU Gold, however, back in towards a situation where they need to find 3 rounds straight as Allen is framed up. You got 13-6 for Dustino, who's still been a menace. 9-4 in Rudd. If you shut those players down, you absolutely have a chance. And while already towards the bomb, we're going to have a chance for an early plant. It's up to Big Criteria again to try and shut this down.
He's got a little bit of help from above, but Ezio does not have an angle to watch mid-trains. That's a free kill. Ezio has to back up. That's going to mean the bomb is going to be planted. Fortunately, Bugs does find a kill rotating from B over to the middle of the map. Spence also is kind of trying to play his life underneath the top causeway. And he's got to watch a lot of different angles. Hiding in a corner. Here's the information. Gets rid of bugs. Trade will be there. We go 2v2.
You got to go quick. Once again, down to the clock. 20 seconds left. Both AR players, they got to move, and they got to move very fast. 15 seconds. Andrew can't win the battle. It'd have to be a 1v2. Ezio down low. His position is known. 2 players for North Texas are alive. They'll play the clock, and they will pull off the reverse sweep. Down 0-2. Doesn't matter. They take 3 straight and close out the series.
And it just goes back to the conversation. Even though they're down the first 2, there were win conditions aplenty in those first 2 maps for UNT. So a little bit of lack of closing out those first 2 maps, not to be considered whatsoever in the back 3. Clean, convincing stuff from the Mean Green. A big win for them. That does a lot for them in the standings overall. Again, they are the team that is currently by tiebreaker on the outside looking in to be into the top 4 overall in the Southwest Division. But I guess the big definition that we could say is with that loss for Colorado Gold, they will find themselves in the bottom 8, meaning that they will have a little bit of a lengthier road to get to that regional qualifier if they want to see playoffs.
Will indeed. But man, the way that they do it, I mean, that just shows so much composure for a team that is trying to contest the top and trying to be able to maybe overcome a couple of these other squads, force tiebreakers. Like, the fact that they're able to do it is just incredible, because you have to look at the way it happened. They were in control both games, where they ended up fumbling the leads, and they gave up a 100-point differential in map 1. They gave up a 2-5 comeback in map 2, and then they're like, all right, enough of that, Alan. We're going for a hot 3-0, a hot 100-point club. And well, in the end, a nice little 6-3 to top it all off. So great composure, good stuff here in North Texas. They get away with the win, and CU Gold probably kicking themselves in the butts a little bit. I feel like they should have had that one, but just couldn't carry the momentum over and towards the maps they're maybe not as familiar on.
Yeah, tough stuff overall. So just to kind of give you the playoff picture overall at the moment, Texas State, they should be able to lock things up. I can't necessarily confirm what's going on in the Bravo stream right now, but they're playing up against Oklahoma in their first overall matchup. A win there would be very favorable for them, because Texas State now goes up to play up against Colorado Gold to finish off their regular season. For Texas Arlington, they had to play up against Ottawa Gold first. Probably lost that one. And then they play up against Oklahoma Crimson, a game that could be a little trepidatious for them. They would need to win that one overall. And like you mentioned, for North Texas, with this win here, they now play up against Ottawa Gold. So you feel like it should be, if I were just to guess, and based off the standings right now, Texas State, pending they beat Oklahoma, pending they beat Colorado, that puts them at 8-3 overall. Should be good for the 3rd spot locked in. And pending that nothing crazy happens in the last matches for UTA or North Texas, both teams would be at 7-4 probably, with UTA, I believe, is actually holding the tiebreaker over this North Texas squad, as I believe they beat them 3-2. Maybe it's the other way around, though. I'm not 100% sure how that one worked out. So kind of take that as you will, but that completes our first set of games so far. Coming up next, we'll swap around the casters a little bit. It's going to be Tulsa going up against Navarro College, also here in the Southwestern region, with a lot of implications as far as where teams will finish overall. So we'll send things away. We'll be bringing on our next set of casters to get us going for slot number 2. Right after this, don't go too far.